Let's now go to central London and join Nick Clegg there this morning. Mr Clegg, this inquiry, well, it's exonerated Lord Rennard, really, and they say there's no proof beyond reasonable doubt. Why is that not good enough for you?
Well, the report that you allude to, which was published last week by a QC, Alistair Webster, following a long, punctilious look at all of this, said, firstly, you're quite right, that there was not sufficient evidence to suggest beyond reasonable doubt that, in effect, a criminal offence had been committed, but there was evidence to show that real distress had been caused amongst the women in question by Lord Rennard's behaviour. And so this QC made the recommendation that, in the light of that, Lord Rennard should do the decent thing, which is simply to apologise and reflect on his behaviour so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, but if he says, he's denied all this, and if he says, look, I've done nothing wrong, if you were in that position and you genuinely believed you did nothing wrong, why would you say sorry?
Well, because the person who, following a long formal process, has been asked to look into this independently, the QC said that whilst in effect a criminal offence had not been committed, distress had been caused, and that, just as in any other walk of life, when you cause distress to somebody else, even if you have different motives or you do it inadvertently, you should apologise. That seems to me to be the basic decent thing to do. And I think many people looking at this programme now would know that, in life, in everyday life, there are countless occasions when people do or say things to other people, regardless of their motives, that cause offence and distress, and which then require an apology. And that is what I want to see now happen. I don't think Lord Rennard should rejoin the party in the House of Lords until that apology has been issued.
So what happens if he turns up there today? Does it all kick off? What happens?
Well, clearly, if he decides to not only ignore my views, but that of the independent reports produced at the end of a formal process, the view of many other Liberal Democrats, perhaps most importantly, I think just also defying common basic decency of apologising when distress has been caused in other people. I think if he were to do that, well, clearly matters would not rest there, but I don't think it needs to get to that if only he would respond to the clear recommendation made, as I say, in a report by an independent QC following a very hard, and if it detailed look at all of this.
And if it doesn't get to that, not only will he have defied, in your view, basic decency, he's also defying you, is he not? And and if he defies you, has he had his chips?
Well, look, I don't want, what I want him to do is to do the decent thing. I'm the leader of a political party. I'm not the leader of a sort of sect. I can't frog march someone to apologise if they absolutely refuse to do it. But I can be very clear in my strongly held views, which is, firstly, as leader, I've got a duty of care to those women who've experienced that distress. Secondly, to uphold the process, the formal process, which has led to this suggestion that an apology should be made. And thirdly, and most importantly, to communicate loud and clear that in the party I lead, I expect people to treat other people, and by the way, particularly people in a position of authority should treat other people with civility, with respect, and with dignity. That did not happen here, and that is why I think it is right that an apology should be issued.
Well, do you know more than the inquiry knows then? I mean, in your view, is he a dirty old man then?
No, all I know is what
you must know more than the
I
rest
read
of
in
us,
the conclusions, and you can read. No, all I'm going by is the conclusions arrived at by this independent QC last week, who said that whilst the evidence was not sufficient to show beyond reasonable doubt that in effect a criminal offence had been committed, nonetheless distress had been caused, and that merited an apology. That's what he said, and I think it is right that Lord Rennard now does the decent thing and apologises to those people who'd suffered that distress.
But I suppose, I mean, as if this was like sport, it's either a goal or it's not a goal, it crossed the line or it didn't cross the line, it was handball or it wasn't, and the referee says it wasn't. So if you don't like what this referee has said, and you don't have any goal line technology, do you want a rehearing on this?
I want, as I say, for Lord Rennard to apologise, and if he doesn't apologise, not to go into the...
What if he doesn't? Look, can you do anything about it if he doesn't?
Well, if he doesn't, then of course there are more things that can be done, and the party will then have to take further action. But I really do think for many people outside politics and outside the arcane rules of that arcane place, the House of Lords, most people understand that sorry is not always a word that you're instructed to utter by a court of law. It is something that you do if you have inadvertently or otherwise caused distress amongst other people.
Sorry, Mr. Clegg, you're just stopping short. You say other things will happen. Is it inevitable that he's out, that he's history? Can you make it happen? Can the House of Lords make it happen? Can the Liberal peers make it happen? And if he doesn't apologise, is he out, yes or no?
Of course, there are a range of options available to the party if he does rejoin the Lords Parliamentary Party this afternoon without apologising, but I hope it won't come to that. I hope he'll either apologise or, if he doesn't, not rejoin the party in the House of Lords. That's what I want.
So he is going to be history if he doesn't say sorry. I would take it from that. You may not say that, but that's what we're assuming. No? Yes.
Well, I'm just. You're asking me to look at the sort of next turn of the wheel when I hope we can now bring these things to a satisfactory, well, not a satisfactory, but at least bring them to a close by Lord Rennard simply doing what he was asked to do in this report, produced independently after a long formal process, which has now been going on for several months.
But very few of you do what you're asked to do. I mean, I've asked you a number of times, just is he history or is he not? And you're saying, well, he might be. Or it's quite obvious you would like him to be history, though. I mean, if you had your way, you'd boot him out, would you?
Well, you're asking me what I would like in the future in a slightly different set of circumstances. What I'd like now is for him to apologise as he's been asked to and not to rejoin the party in the House of Lords if he doesn't apologise, for the reasons that I think many people on this programme watching this programme would understand, which is that regardless of whether you are shown to have caused, in effect, a criminal offence or not, if you have caused offence and distress in other individuals, the basic human decency suggests, in politics as in normal everyday life, that you apologise for that.